Welcome to the program. Last week, Ukraine's parliament opened for its 9th session with many new plans on the table. The budget, Ukrainian language law and removing lawmaker immunity are among the top priorities. To talk more about goals and challenges of the current session of Ukrainian parliaments, we're joined in the studio today by Ionova. She's a member of the Verkhovna Rada. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello.
So, one of the points in the recent session is the potential removal of lawmakers' immunity. How is it supposed to be implemented?
No, I think that's one of the priorities. Yes, as one of the sessions has already passed. And, you know, we have passed such important laws in national security sphere and also equal opportunities between men and women for military. And, of course, one of the main important bills, the pronunciation of Slava Ukraini, glory to Ukraine. So we are, step by step, we going out and we go away from such Soviet terminology. Regarding immunity, that's also one of the priorities, especially I'm talking on behalf of the Bloc Petro Poroshenko faction. And of course, I hope that next plenary week we will vote for Central Election Commission. Also, as you know, the initiative by the President regarding changes to the Constitution about Euro-Atlantic integration, to have these changes in the Constitution, but that will be in the first reading, and we will send this bill to the Constitutional Court. So that is why I can say that without any immunity, yeah, because it's not international experience also, and it's not international procedures and principles. So I think that we have to go away also from some populistic slogans, and really just to adopt a bill which will be according to also European legislation, our obligations, and which will be understandable also for society.
Now, do you think that certain lawmakers who might be targeted by that kind of law will be okay to vote for and to implement that law? That's where the difficulty lies.
That's you know, that's the wide question, as we are not able to discuss with you this draft law without not discussion like electoral process. That's how to say, for me it's a problematic issue, because I think that it's too long for elections. That's first of all. We have more priorities and more important tasks to adopt, and not only to adopt but also to provide parliamentary control for implementation. And of course, for me as acting chair of the Committee on European Integration, of course for me our obligation on association agreement is much more important than some political populistic discussions, because I think that we still do not have time, you know, to spend this time and not to have a result. That is why the main important thing, my opinion, is now to have discussions, but in the plenary hall to have such draft bills which will be voted.
To have results in the end,
yes,
quick
yeah, with the
results.
result. And telling the truth, as you know, at the beginning of the session, we also had a few very important draft bills on intellectual property, and unfortunately, just because of physical absence for a lot of MPs, we didn't vote such important bills. So that is why, for me and for our faction, we really would like to vote, but with the result, you know, not to have discussion and to waste of time, because we still have problems in our economical issue, and that is why that's the one of the also priorities.
Now, one of the key points of the reforms for Ukrainian society, and also demanded by the IMF, is the fight against corruption. What is the current situation on the matter for the viewers to understand?
This immunity, it's also one of the steps, yes. Telling the truth, I think that association agreement, national security law, changes to constitution, and now in our agenda, telling the truth, each draft bill, it's part of this fighting with corruption, because we can discuss with you a lot of issues, just like intellectual property. You know, unfortunately, how this market is like black and gray. So we have started to have a transparent system in this field. Especially we need it like in science, in media, and so on. So that is why it's also one of the part of anti-corruptional program. Regarding national security issue, it is also a part of this fighting. So that is why I can say the main institution we have created, yes, which is they are independent, and our common wish is them to work on a 100% and to work hard, and then we will be glad if corruption people will be in the prison, not, you know, just informational news. And that is why also one of the priorities is also elections of the judges in the Parliament of Ukraine. It's also one of their points of agenda.
Now, civil society has its role to play also against corruption in that case. And recently, a court has given the Prosecutor General's office access to the phone records of Krystyna Berdinsky, who's an investigative journalist at the Novoye Vremya magazine. What's your stance on this? What kind of message does it send about the freedom of the press to investigate into that kind of corruption cases?
First of all, I'm not a representative of prosecutor office. I also, as other citizens of Ukraine, have read it in the news, what was happened, and the statements by both sides. Here, as I have read, that this interference, yes, is only not by private her messages, but by some information which is concerned with her work. So, of course, we have to respect journalists, their work, their investigation. But as we hear, and there were a statement of General Prosecutor Office that there is a reason why they are doing this. So the only one thing what I can say, that probably it has to be transparent and public, and more in information, more explanations for society why it was done and so on. Because unfortunately, we have not only like hybrid military war with Russian Federation, but we also have a hybrid informational like not informational, like propaganda war. And that is why, as you know, also our faction now, we are standing to like ignore, to boycott, to like one channel, yes, News One, but as we see now, another channel is 112, is also after analysis of the news and analytics. So unfortunately, this tendency is not positive. I mean, there is no balance and there is no objective news. So that's dangerous before, especially, and during the elections. That is why I think that here the relevant committee and like other state agencies, they have to control, and also like Secret Service and other services, they have to react if the policy is anti-Ukrainian, anti-national security. So how to say, we have to react because we are in war.
Now, speaking about war, recently you visited Avdiivka, one of the hottest points of the front line. It is now constantly being shelled. Now, last January, the town was going through a tough, to say the least, humanitarian crisis. How to ensure that it won't happen again this year?
Oh, unfortunately, as you know, it's more than 1 year, the relevant shellings and no ceasefire. First of all, I would like to say that the visit of our diplomats together with President was very important, as we have also diplomatic front. And some of our ambassadors, of course, has visited already in conflict zone and with the Russian aggression and so on. But the majority, as we have more than in 150 countries our embassies. So of course for them it was, not the theory, that was a practice. They
to see the
see by
reality of
their
the
own
field.
eyes. They talked to our military, they talked to local people. And as you know, on the 8th of September, just the day before yesterday, there was the Avdiivka celebrated 240 years when this town was created. So, and at the same time, the bad
it was
news,
shelled again. Yeah.
It was shelled again. The filtration station was closed. So, how to say? But people, anyway, how many times I visited Avdiivka. I'm really very proud of these people who, in such conditions, are not going to leave their town. They would like to work hardly. They and they respect our Ukrainian armed forces. They understand that they defend them, and that is why a lot of infrastructure objects are now renovated, are in the process. So the new schools, new kindergartens, like new sport places. So people would like to live peacefully in their town, and also they still are telling us that these shellings, these pro-Russian proxies, they would like us to leave our town. We don't want to leave. That's Avdiivka is Ukraine, and that is why they are fighting together, like with the Ukrainian army.
But the winter is going to be harsh. How to ensure to help these people?
I will tell you, as you know, also there were the good news for Avdiivka and for a few small towns on this line, that the new gas pipeline was provided, and that was really, how to say, it's really touchful for the people, as that's the result, and they understand that really the cold season is coming, but anyway they will be in warm flats and houses. So that's what haven't been done more than 25 years. So that is why even that was a great news for them. So the only one problem now, of course, it's filtration station, but there is some reservations, and our Ministry of Temporary Occupied Territory are working, and also a Ministry of Regional Infrastructure, Mr. Zubko, is taking under control. So believe us, it's our citizens, and we will make everything to make them warm with the water, with the heating. So the question is, of course, of shelling, because as you know, the coordination and FSB people, they are working hard, and they know where they're making these shellings. So that is why we have to increase our international, to increase our cooperation
and support
from international partners, as only sanctions and such strong statements and actions, not only deeply concerned, can stop him a little bit. For example, I mean, at least not such strategic and peaceful and not military, like local people.
Now, and to conclude this interview, what are the next big challenges, what are the next big points on the Parliament schedule, and how to ensure they're properly implemented for good?
In general, I have mentioned a few of them. Yes, of course, it's changes to the Constitution as Euro-Atlantic integration. Also, it's Election Central Commission and Electoral Code. As you know, it's a very big project, and it's more than 4,000 amendments. But anyway, we have to have this procedure discussion. And also, for me, we have worked during some, we have renovated our roadmap on our obligations on the cessation agreement. That is why we have the spheres, and for example, 12 draft bills are already even ready with the positive expertise to be in a plenary hall to discuss, and I hope it will be results. Also, I would like to say that for me, as a co-chair of Equal Opportunities Caucus, also important quotas. So I hope, or in electoral code, or we have another initiative before elections, we will vote for such legislation which allows to have these quotes in the party list.
Well, then we will closely follow that. Thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
That was Ionova, member of Ukrainian Parliament. Thank you for watching the program and stay tuned for the rest.